All right, well, thank you so much, Graham. We are sticking to the topic of the great outdoors. Now, earlier on in the show, we spoke about the fact that the South African Weather Service released its amended report that we can still expect a hot summer, but we can expect slight relief from the drought we're experiencing with more rain. And that brings us to the topic of water-wise gardening, because even though we might be expecting more rain, we still need to be water-wise. Now, water-wise gardening is an approach to designing and maintaining your garden that will minimize the amount of water it needs in order to stay healthy and full of life as well. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to have to dig up your lawn and replace it with a variety of hardy cacti, or no plants at all for that matter. So in studio this morning, we have a gardening expert from Landscaping Cape Town, Rigo Motsepe, to tell us a bit more about water-wise gardening and what you can do to have your garden looking absolutely perfect throughout the next coming summer months. Rigo, thank you so much for joining us, my friend.
It's definitely a pleasure.
Yeah, man. So water-wise gardening, I think it's a big one. Whenever we hear that term, people tend to gravitate towards, succulents and pot plants, maybe even synthetic lawns for that matter, But I mean, you've got a different take on that. So in your mind, what is water-wise gardening all about?
Well, it's true how people think it's just succulents and pots, but water-wise gardening is trying to take plants that grow well together and have low water requirements. They are drought resistant, drought hardy. And this is done by adding like soil additives in the soil, like having very good compost in there, and like things that will help you not to lose water out of the ground.
I know that when it comes to obviously planting and gardening, I mean, the soil preparation is one of the most important aspects that you can do before you actually put your plants in the soil. So, but let's talk about those plants. Actually, I mean, what would you regard as your top three water-wise plants? I think you brought some examples for us today as well.
Yeah, well, my top three, well, it's more like the ground covers and herbaceous perennials that I got here. Okay. I've got Euryops pectinatus, that's the one with the yellow flowers, and a lavender there. I like those because they've got like grey leaves, and the leaves are not as big as what tropical plants are, so they don't expend a lot of water when the sun hits them. And then I got a variety of ground covers on the other side, where the two on the furthest end, that's the gazania and the marigolds, they're annuals, and what's nice is they seed themselves. So you can always collect the seeds and use it on another time, on another stage. And they have octotus on the other side with the grey leaves, also same type of leaf structure with as the Euryops and the lavender.
Okay. Some really nice examples here of low water impact kind of plants. Are these plants area specific? I mean, we in Cape Town. I mean, what about the guys in Joburg, Durban, across the country?
What's nice about all these plants that are brought, they accept the lavender. They're indigenous to the Southern African region. And the octotus is actually endemic to the fynbos area, which is the floral characteristics that grow in Cape Town. And octotus, I mean, if you drive up the West Coast, all you see is just octotus flowering, and it grows wild with little to no water, not even maintenance.
All right. Well, there's definitely some plants. Just quickly before we go, your personal water-saving tips. Or your best tip that you can give to our viewers?
My best tip is to mulch. You need to mulch your garden. So that's the best way to keep the water inside the soil. And by mulching, that's putting bark chips on top of your garden beds, or like a decomposed organic matter, and that helps a lot to not expend a lot of water out of the soil. Keep moisture in. It's all about locking it in.
All right, Rigo, well, thank you so much for joining us, man. Really appreciate the advice as well. So really, with a little forethought, consideration, and the right plants, of course, you can make a big difference to your garden's thirst for the water, of course, during the coming summer months as well. So keep your garden happy and the water bill low at the same time with water-wise gardening. Some really, really great tips here this morning on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. And with that, all I can say is happy gardening. Good luck.